Hello and welcome back to the Student Pages podcast. As ever, I'm your host, Grace Sanders. I'm joined by my guest, musician, producer, actor, Chef Sean. Hello, how are you?
Man, bless. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I wanted to get to know you a little bit more, ask a couple of questions, obviously, about your new single, Runaway, as well as your album, My Life. Who is Chef Sean? How did you start your career? As I know, you started out as an actor in the feature film Jason's Lyric alongside Jada Pinkett Smith. That's quite big. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it actually wasn't how I started. I started with Oprah Winfrey in a movie called There Are No Children Here. And that kind of set me up my next audition for Jason's Lyric. I ended up getting the lead role as Jason. Of course, from there, I thought, movies. But I didn't move to California. I stayed in Chicago, just lived a regular kid life. Right now, just been pushing my life and working on my music.
Your repertoire is really quite widely spread around producing music, kind of spread all over the arts. Did you either see yourself shifting more so into music and back into acting, or are you kind of just fanning out, trying to cover a little bit of everything because you're going where your heart takes you?
My heart is really in both of them, because I love acting as much as I love music, but music is a little different. I get to be myself. It's two different feelings. So you can put me as the lead role and I'll be the star. I can kick everybody's ass. But in real life, in my music, you get the real part of me.
So do you see your career as kind of like a bit like two entities? Then you have the role that you play, and then the person that you are.
I try to, when I play a role, I try to make it only for TV or film. I don't like to play a role in life.
I get that, and then you see that, and that definitely comes across in your music as well. You mentioned that whilst you were still acting as kind of like a younger child actor, you kept in Chicago, you kept as a school kid. So whilst you did have that kind of background on the big screen, what was it like making that journey into music?
It was organic because, it started off like freestyling in parks and hanging with friends, just kind of BSing around. It grew into like a passion, like I really like this shit. And I felt like I was good at it, but I kept getting better and better and better. I still feel that way. Each song I do, I feel like it keeps going up. So
you feel like you're still just like breaking new levels. When was it most real to you that you've kind of broken the ceiling, not only with acting, but with music too?
Actually kicked it in play was a song I did called Color Money. And then what I feel kind of broke the lid open a little bit was a song I did, No Name. No Name I did with Saya originally, and ended up doing a remix with Jeremih.
I noticed you've worked with quite a lot of big names. You recently worked alongside Juicy J as well on his tour. Do you have kind of like a roadmap of artists that you'd like to collaborate with in the future?
Future, 50 Cent, Lil Baby. I like to work with Chris Brown. Off the top of my brain, those are the key people.
Is there any specific reason why, like any of the names that you've chosen, why you'd actually like to work with them in the future? Is it to do with inspiration or simply like the crowds that they run in?
I would like to do something with J. Cole because I feel like he would put my pen to the test because I'm a lyricist too. J. Cole, I feel like, press that issue and make me push a little further.
And how important is it to you to actually be like challenged with your music? I know you mentioned that you'd like your pen to be put to the test.
It's key because that's when you get the most out of yourself.
So you're still on this journey of kind of continuous development. And I see that the people that you've actually mentioned, how important is it to you to actually find like those who align with the musical vision that you've created? I know that very clear to me when you see a collaboration between two artists and you're like, this has clearly been put together by a PR team in order to make money. We've got no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I guess, they're trying to make some money. Feel behind that. Sometimes I feel like those songs aren't even done together. They send them a file. They go into a studio by themselves. They record it. They send the file back. Mine it's a little bit more intimate than that. I get in the studio. There is no foul until we get there. The beat gets made right there. And most of the time, 90% of the time, You know, it is sometimes I get beats from people and I'll be like, oh shit, this is dope. When collabing with another artist, it's really about the vibe.
And what is it like that either development or collaboration process for you from start to finish?
We start with the production, and then what I hear from the beat, I let the beat kind of talk to me, tell me where to go from there. And then I get going. Once I get that first line, that cadence of how I want it to go, it's probably is nonstop from there.
Would you say that your kind of creative process, either when you're writing together or alone, is more like a floodgate, like as soon as that one drop's gone through, it's going, or is it more of like a iterative, you've got to keep working, you've got to keep grinding?
Yeah, it's more of a vibe. Once I get that feel, I just go. You know, sometimes it could take. I remember one time I got a studio session, a 12-hour session. I didn't really get like a good vibe to even start going to about 4 hours into the session. But on that fourth hour, it was like, you know, pum, you know, nothing faster than a pum. It's just going. I like to work like that. You know, I don't write much down sometimes. Sometimes I do if I'm not at the mic and I don't want to forget something and I get an idea. But when I'm at the studio, you know, it's pretty much off the top of the head.
So on the flip side of that improv, is there any times where you kind of hit a wall and you do have that, like those 12-hour sessions and there's just nothing coming out of them?
I definitely have those days. I've had a few sessions where I pretty much did the whole song and I feel like the lines I'm coming up with at, you know, near the end just weren't as strong as the others. So I probably go home, listen to it a few times, take a couple, and then come back to it. And then I'll be a little more fresh. But that's only happened a few times.
I suppose it is incredibly hard when you're trying to go back and look back on self-reflection when something is so personal to you. I suppose when you're watching yourself on screen, it's completely different to just having that one-on-one time with your own words and with your own thoughts.
The one-on-one time is key because, you know, sometimes you be around a lot of people and it could kind of cloud your thoughts. Then I've been in situations where you got a whole bunch of people in the room sometimes and they all have their ideas and they're trying to like shoot them to you. Like, oh, you should say this, you should say that. You know, and I appreciate the camaraderie and stuff, but what's really going to work is what feels right to me.
And on that note of camaraderie, is there a specific person in your life that you look to, either like a friend or a relative, that has really been there throughout the creative process?
Folks like Al, Brahma, you know, OK Deezy, Harry Montclair.
Of course, what we want to majorly talk about is your new release, Runaway, your new single. What does it actually mean to you to have those like incredibly personal moments like out there on Spotify, on YouTube, on the internet for the whole world to see?
What I really want people to get from Runaway being out is like, you know, it's not really running away from anything. It's running to a safe place in your brain, pretty much. You know, it's like have a good time, enjoy yourself. You could go back to kind of like a weekend. You got Saturday and Sunday off, and Monday you back to work. You know what I mean? Sometimes Runaway is that feel. Give yourself some time, you know, get away, get your mental health together, you know, and it could go for anybody. The average working man, it could go all the way to the guy in the trap. Can't stay in the trap all day.
So Runaway in itself is sort of less of a runaway, more of like a vacation.
A vacation. I say it's a big vacation. I can go through the whole song, but it's really a big vacation, you know, for yourself, for your mental health.
You often kind of explore darker themes within your music surrounding the pressures from the industry, those who may not believe in you, as well as like headspace and mental health. How important is it to you to portray this in this single?
I really want this to get through and like soak in some people's heads, because I look at some of the comments, not on my comments, but I could just look at a superstar and I'm looking at the comments and it's so much hate and hatred going through a lot of these comments. I could just understand, like, a lot of people probably can't deal with certain things like that. So it's always good to have a reminder, something to kind of bring you back to, like, don't worry about it. These people don't even know you. You know, don't even worry about what is going on. Kind of like putting yourself in your own space is what I would do, and what I want people to understand. Like, forget all the negative and people talking and making bad comments, because I swear I've never seen so much hate in the comments as of recently.
I think especially with like the rise of apps such as like TikTok, when you're actually able to spread so much good information, but misinformation is also able to be spread. And I think most people are so desensitized to all of this kind of negative feedback and commentary and kind of the avenues that you're gonna be one thing and not the other.
And then a lot of people want their life to look like how they make it look on Instagram and these platforms. So they're doing things to try and, keep up or put themselves in that spot. Some of these things aren't even worth it.
Of course. And this affects everybody, down to like somebody with no followers to somebody like Beyonce, however many million followers. It's kind of just like a one conclusive truth. We don't really pay attention to it enough. So this single Runaway itself is part of your larger album, My Life. Do you want to kind of expand upon what this album means to you?
It means a lot to me because it was the first full body of work that I've been able to put out. I put out a lot of singles up until My Life. So My Life is it's like a stage and time of my life that I went through pretty much everything that's on the album. Like the cover art. I don't know if you've paid attention to the cover art, but that actually was a real situation that happened to me in that very way. It's just really letting the people understand who I am. And then I get to flex my style. And I have a deluxe album coming out that should be out soon. It's called My Life, the Deluxe Album. And the cover would have another point and period of my life.
One thing that I was about to explore was kind of the new topics and like the new art that you have coming up. I know that going through and releasing a full album, a new single from end to end is really quite an exhaustive process. But do you have kind of a pathway that you've sorted out within your head of where you'd like to go within? I appreciate we're coming up to the end of the year, but next year, next 5 years, next 10 years?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, right now we're working on a video game, and a script for the video game. We got some movies in our future, movies provided with full soundtracks, by yours truly. Yeah, we got some plans in the making. So the best thing I could say to you is kind of keep up with me, or I'll keep up with you so I can let you know each move that's made. Because it's, right now as we're going up, talking about being excited about something, I'm a Grammy contender for the song Runaway. So, I'm fingers crossed, but I'm excited as hell about that. It's my first time being a Grammy contender. And I've actually, I put a lot into this. So to get that it kind of makes me feel like, okay, everything is working. It's going the right way. I'm just happy. I'm happy right now.
I love the way you kind of just drop in like, yeah, I'm making a video game, doing more films, doing more music. Oh, so I got nominated for a Grammy. Like, if I found £10 on the floor, that's my week made. And you're kind of just sat relaxing, chilling.
Yeah.
I'd be on the roof right now if I was you.
Yeah, man. I feel like, like I was out the other day and it just felt different,
I take away from the flow of what you were talking about as you were really excited there. I have to admit, I'm really, really curious about the video game. What kind of narrative does it follow? What inspired you to make this?
I'm glad you asked. The video game that I have, all right, well, it starts from, I've got a weed line and a clothing line, and it's called Legal Pothead, right? Mm-hmm. It's really a video game based around legal pothead. So it's a period game where, it shows what I went through to become a legal pothead. I mean, without giving it all the way away, that's pretty much just like, I grow from the street in the game, and I work my way up. I become legal in it, but then when you become legal and you get more money, you get more problems. So it's kind of like a spinoff of probably Mafia or Grand Theft Auto, so I'm real excited about it. It's going to be dope. But Legal Pothead, you can look it up, legalpothead.com. You know, we got strands, we got clothing. You know, I'm not sure if you're into medical flower, but we've got some of the best.
Is there anything that you don't do?
Yeah, I don't do no sucker shit.
I was about to actually mention Grand Theft Auto. I'm aware there's like a real specific kind of bit on GTA 5 where you can kind of drop in between like two NPCs that are actually voiced by Tyler, the creator, and ASAP Rocky, and they're just having a full conversation.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell no, it's dope.
I think honestly, one of my dream careers is just to be like a voiceover for like cartoons or games or something, because that is just the chillest thing.
Well, maybe we can get you as one of the voices on the video game.
You have no idea how much I would love to be a part of Legal Pothead, the video game. Do you think anybody talks like me there? Is there a space for me there?
I would study it and probably try to do it my damn self, but I would rather you do it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I'm gonna follow you up on this.
All right, yeah, we keep up. I'll let you know because we're getting to that point. You know, I was thinking probably we'd be ready for voiceover after Christmas, maybe. You know.
Oh, so it's not a Christmas present release yet.
No, it probably won't be released till next Christmas, but because it's still in production, the script is done, the writing is done. Only thing we're really working on now is the development. So
you've gone through, you kind of seem to have completed acting. You've kind of gone through music, video games, clothing, online stores. Was there like a point, I appreciate this is cliche, but like in your childhood when you were just kind of beginning your career that you knew it was going to go this way?
Yeah, I think that's why my mother didn't let me move to LA as a kid when I started acting. You know, she was like, "Oh, you know, I think she saw I might blow up and end up like, you know, one of these Nickelodeon kids on drugs or something." And I think she was worried about that. So that was, you know, but yeah, I think it was foreseen. It was a point where I felt like, you know, sky's the limit. But staying and actually living the life I live, it humbled me. It made me the person I am. So, you know, no complaints about anything.
And as we are the Student Pages podcast, what kind of advice would you give to like the late teens, early 20s, those looking into any sort of creative pathway?
If you are creative and, you know, creative is inside of you, you know, being a creator, you know, you deal with a lot and you may be sharp on a whole bunch of things or maybe not. But the main thing is if you want to create, you have to stick to it. You can't make something and it doesn't work. People didn't like it and you give up. You know, if it's in your heart, you got to keep going and follow what you want to do. You know, so if it's in your heart, go for it, man. You'd be surprised, you know, where you get from, you know, sticking to your dreams and sticking to what's true to yourself. Because I could have gave up a long time ago. And, you know, I could have got frustrated with just how long it took to get a response. I could have been frustrated about a lot of things, but I didn't let it like affect me that way. I let it affect me in a way I went back to the studio. I went to work. I make more heat, make more music, you know, but like I say, this is what I wanted to do. This is what's inside of me. So now I'm reaping the benefits. Like things are doing good. And like I said, we're going up right now. So, you know, and it's just the beginning too. So I'm real excited, you know, and I feel like it's a long time coming. So yeah, anybody listening, don't give up on what you want to do for yourself because it's your life. You only get one. And only thing that's gonna make you happy is doing what you like to do. Some people get caught in a cubicle. It's really not what they want to do. And they're miserable or unhappy.
I think that is so very true and a lovely note to actually end the podcast on. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Chef. It's been a pleasure.
Man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. on the way out, everybody go follow The Real Chef Sean, you know, TheReal ChefSean. And should I be on the cover of Hollywood Weekly with a nice big spread Thursday? It comes out Thursday, so you know, Hollywood Weekly is worldwide. So go pick up a copy out there, read it, you know, and go stream the music, man. I appreciate everybody.